you ready, Chinchillas? November 2002. I put on a skirt and jacket and head up to North London. Princess Park Manor is a partial apartment complex on the south side of that area's High Street. The sharp-suited woman in the sales hut by the manor's front gate seemed excited by my visit. Maybe sales have been slow. This is not a wheel-heeled neighbourhood. Will anyone who can ever pay $500,000 for a two-bedroom flat really want to live here? I flipped through the glossy brochures, checked the location of two apartments, and head along the flower-lined path towards the main building. The wide lawn glistens in the morning light. A squirrel chatters in a cedar. When I'm out of sight of the sales hut, I leave the path and walk across the lawn to the door in the building to our right. The door opens onto a sunny corridor with polished wooden floors. For a moment I'm disoriented. Then I walk along the corridor until a staircase appears on the left. I climb to the first floor, onto a small landing with a numbered door. I go over to the door and stand there. Sounds from within? No, nothing. No footsteps, no cries, no rattle of cave. Silence. So we have to be really exercised then? Not even the echoes of our voices trapped in the walls. Surely the stench of our cigarettes, our endless cigarettes, must still be detectable. But all I can smell is the fresh paint and floor polish. I go back downstairs and make my way to a couple of show flats. At first I can't understand what I find in them. Galleries going nowhere, cubbyhole bedrooms with arched ceilings, windows spanning 2 floors, lots of odd corners. Many of the rooms are womb-like. Long, narrow entrances, abruptly opening into windowless spaces. Everything is decorated in a mass-market shape. Dark green leather sofas, marble bursts on glass shelves, poster shop prints and shiny frames. Gradually, like resembling a picture bubble, I begin to make out a bit of a corridor here, an original ceiling there, and I start to see how it's been done, and abruptly lose interest. I go back to the sales hut, smile discouragingly at the sharp suit, and head back home. Park Manor was my loony bin, my nut house. In the late 1980s, I spent nearly 8 months there. None of the sales literature mentions how Manor's previous incarnation is a mental hospital that I can't pronounce. Yes, in its own way, it's top grade, and then entering it for the first time in July 1988, I found myself in what had once been England's biggest and most advanced psychiatric institution, the Middlesex County Pauper Lunatic Asylum at Colney Hatch, or Colney Hatch, as the Fern was universally known until the mid-20th century. Like nearly all of Britain's oldest slums, the hospital was slated to closure. A few days after my vision, my friend and the historian Raphael Samuel had come to visit me. He looked around the vast, drab ward with its undisguised fascination and embraced me. "Darling Barbara, what a privilege for you as a historian to be present at the demise of one of the greatest Victorian institutions." His words both annoyed and amused me, but they lodged inside me, and this book was the result. I've always been unhappy. Moving from Canada to London, aged 21, I had thought to leave my unhappiness behind me, but it travelled with me, and in my late 20s it took a frightening turn. I became horribly anxious, unable to sleep, plagued by mysterious bodily symptoms. In 1981, I was 31. I broke down entirely for a time and decided to seek help. Many of my friends were in psychotherapy, so this became my route. In 1982, I began seeing a psychoanalyst. Within 3 years, I had lost all semblance of ordinary life. 3 years further on, I was admitted to the place I can't pronounce. I spent nearly 4 years in the mental health system, either as an inpatient or a day patient. When I was in the place I can't pronounce, I lost my home. I went to live in a psychiatric hospital. And when my work When my world had contracted around my illness, I believed I would be a lifelong mental patient. This was not to be my fate. But if it had been, what then? What would the rest of my life been like? This book, in part, is an attempt to answer this question. My years as a mental patient coincided with a revolution in the psychiatric health system. Right across the Western world, people with mental disorders are being decanted out of the old mental asylums into the community. I was formally discharged in 1992. Frien closed the following year. By the end of the decade, nearly all mental hospitals had gone. I'd lived through the twilight days of the asylum age. I was half aware of this at the time and occasionally felt very anxious about what would become of me. But mostly these changes, insomuch as I was conscious of them, just fed my sense of personal despair. After all, I was doomed anyway to this hospital, this day centre. No hospital, no day centre. What would any of it make to me? Yet, unlike most people who live through this transition, I had another resource on hand. All the time I was in the psychiatric institutions, I was also seeing a psychoanalyst 5 times a week. This was a fraught therapeutic relationship which in the summer of 1990 went through a crisis that proved transformative. Gradually, with much grizzling and many backsteps, I moved out of the hell that I'd been inhabiting. In 1993, I got a job in London University, and in the 1990s, I acquired a partner and a family and found myself with a life that I wanted to lead. I've been living it ever since. The Last Asylum is a story of my madness years, set inside the story of the death of the asylum system in the late 20th century. The book is a historical meditation on mental illness, primarily my own illness, but also as millions of other people have suffered, are suffering, and will suffer from mental. Yes, the changes have transformed mental health care and have been highly controversial. Some people applaud them as progressive alternatives to institutional care, whilst others condemn them as cost-cutting exercises. Yay! Billy sausages, masquerading as psychiatric modernisation. You really like mental health, don't you, little sausages? You do indeed. This book does not adjudicate these disagreements, though it has things to say about them. I'm not a historian of psychiatry, and anyway, my own concerns are rather different. The rise of the asylum age witnessed the emergence of a paradigm conflict still evident in mental health circles. This conflict maps loosely onto the opposition between psychological and biomedical models of madness, but terms such as near versus far, interactive versus passive, subject versus object tell us more about it. How close to madness must a world-beat healer get to effectively treat it? One paradigm shows that madness practitioners are proffering remedies to sufferers across the gulf of professional expertise. The other shows sufferer and healer drawn together in a therapeutic partnership which, in the strongest versions of this tradition, directly implicates the healer's own psyche in the treatment process, an approach described by the leading forensic psychotherapist Dr. Gwen Adshed as making your mind available. Dear Lord, you little cuttises, you're going to destroy everything. Where was I? The demands of the asylum has reconfigured this conflict without diminishing it, and it concludes to reverberate throughout psychiatric services. This book explores this conflict not in order to resolve it, but to show the importance of past and present understanding, storage and healing.